we present to you for the first time ever a Cinco de Sixo.
It's Cinco de Sixo on Evan and Tiki on the Fan.
That is some good production right there.
Nice. Cinco de Sixo is brought to you by Helix Wireless, connecting everything everywhere, and by Wendy's. Try the new pretzel Baconator today. All right, over the weekend, we found out that President Joe Biden will be resigning from this ticket in this upcoming election.
Deciding not to run for re-election. He is not resigning as president, though that could happen.
Resigning from the ticket.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the top 5 most shocking New York sports resignations.
Oh, interesting.
All right, here we go.
Here we go!
Number 5.
Spike Eskin. A short-term as program director at New York's more storied sports radio station, and left, leaving everybody's jaws on the ground to go be talent in the disgusting city.
And you know what? It's actually very similar to Biden. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. President Biden was forced out. I think we all know that. And not many people know this, but so was Spike. I think the architect realized, what am I doing here?
Not now, Evan. Marchand's very busy with the TNT news. Here we go.
Number 4.
Wink Martindale. I had to include this one even though it was recent. It really got me thinking, because think about this. He resigned by not telling Brian Dable he was officially leaving, just by boarding a plane to Florida.
Right, that is a non-resignation resignation.
Yeah. In fact, I still don't think he resigned.
It's one of those stories I remember when the first little nugget came out in the middle of the season, that him and Brian Dable weren't getting along very well. And there was a possibility that there was going to be an exit at the end of the year. There's a very mixed reaction to it. A lot of people came out and said, it's not true. It's BS. You know, Jay Glazer, where'd he get this from? Meanwhile, you look back on it and, wow, he nailed that.
Yeah.
Whether it was Wink's fault or Dable's fault doesn't even matter. Probably Wink's fault. Like, yeah, we kind of saw it coming. We just weren't sure if it was true. And again, a lot of similarities to this.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know how true it was with Wink. Like, we knew Wink's kind of rough around the edges, and Dave's is obviously a little bit as well. Eventually, they were gonna butt heads because their personalities are different. We should know how true it was that they couldn't stand each other.
All right, Tommy.
Number 3.
I think my number 3 is the most similar to the Joe Biden situation.
Go ahead.
Aging, can't really do the job anymore, but is afraid nobody's going to tell him he can't do the job anymore. Alex Rodriguez in 2016. We all thought watching him play, oh, my God, is somebody going to tell him he can't do this? And out of nowhere, we finally got that press conference, and A-Rod announced he was going to be stepping away mid-season, and we had a rainy Friday night goodbye to him, and he didn't finish the year out.
Yeah, that's funny. I hardly remember that. I don't know why that doesn't.
The only thing I remember about it, and obviously I'm on the air as this was happening with Joe, was he was done. So you're right, Father Time wins out, and the Yankees was so done with him. And so the Yankees had to just convince him, like, dude, it's over. Kind of like the conversation Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden.
Exactly.
Yeah, so far all these are pretty good.
All right, here we go.
Number 2.
I'll take you back to a pandemic radio world. Mike Francesa, the second retirement. He had already come back the first time, and he resigns. I thought this one was more shocking because we had the big farewell tour the first time. I remember, being at home, we all weren't in the office going, Mike's out again?
The second Mike Francesa retirement. You know what's funny about that one? I don't know how many people remember this. Again, he stuck around too. After he left, he stayed on and did a 6 to 6:30 show. He was the original Luke Gower.
I just like to point out that the only 2 people to have that slot are Mike Francesa and Tommy Lugauer.
Wow.
I don't remember that part of it.
Yep.
Well, I love you, Tommy, but Chris McMonagle does exist.
Oh.
Boy, ironically trying to erase history. Here we go.
Number 1.
Bill Belichick resigning as Jets head coach. I mean, and the lore of this resignation, why it's number 1, is only grown over time with the success he had elsewhere.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
That's the ultimate. Look, what's funny about, and I think what I'm about to say represents a lot of people's emotion around the president.
Do it. Like, he didn't even start it.
Right. And none of us saw it coming, too.
No.
Well, the feeling I had on Sunday with President Biden announcing he wasn't running for re-election was not shock, because we'd heard the whispers for weeks at a time. And I think most of us thought after the debate performance, hey, they're probably going to replace the Democratic nominee. Okay. So as we sit here today, it's easy to say, why are you shocked by it? But yet you're shocked when it's announced because it's something you just don't experience.
No.
It's something we haven't experienced.
It's unprecedented.
Right.
It's not like, I've seen this before. In a couple of days, this is going to happen.
Yes.
We had no idea what was going to happen until it actually did.
Yes. And that's where it's like, it's shocking, but it's not shocking. I think with Bill Belichick, it was just shocking. Because at the time you figured, all right, he's the head coach. It is what it is. And then obviously we know what happened behind the scenes, his concern about the ownership change.
Yes.
And then, yes, what adds to the story is the fact that he goes on and becomes the greatest head coach of all time.
In division.
Yes, in the division. That's correct.
Thank you for pointing that out. Now, there's a lot
You could
of...
have also added Jim Fossil.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
This Cinco de Sixo, there's a sixth missing. Evan was tasked with finding the biggest omission. Maybe you have that, Tiki.
Well, I think there's and not that you got the list wrong. I think there are tons of them. I mean, that's the beauty of this
list.
This list is...
So Fossils is one.
Okay.
But Fossils is complicated because he was kind of fired.
Well, so was Joe Biden.
Aren't most resignations kind of complicated?
Well, yes. But Biden's term it's like, we're not renewing your contract. And I guess Fossils was kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like, you're done at the end of the season, but stay on and coach us for the next 3 or 4 games, whatever it was. So it's not like he resigned because he was fired, but he did resign. At least that's what he told us.
Right.
So it's confusing.
Well, I think a lot of these are like Joe Torre also kind of got forced out, but then he officially resigned.
Yeah.
But did he really resign? The Yankees forced him out. I'll tell you one that's got to be on this list, and I'm not sure how many people remember or even realize all these years later, this guy did not get fired. This guy resigned. And the guy I'm talking about is Richie Kotite. Richie Kotite, the worst head coach in the history of New York football. I think that's a fair statement I can make.
I don't remember this happening, but keep going.
100%. Richie Kotite resigned. He left because Leon Hess wanted to be a good guy. He didn't want to fire him. So he calls him up and says, dude, you're not going to be the coach anymore. Who the hell's kidding? No. And so Richie Kotite had a press conference in which he basically announced, I'm ineffective at my job. I'm very terrible. I'm going to leave. That's essentially what Richie Kotite said. But when we think about Rich Kotite all these years later, we think of an incompetent head coach that got fired.
Yeah.
We don't think of a guy that basically resigned. Now, yes, did he resign because he was told to? Yeah, but most of these guys are the same way with that, like you pointed out.
Yeah, unless there's a bigger, better deal like Belichick, most of these guys are resigning because they know they're going to get fired.
Yeah. I'll give you another one, except this is the complete opposite. This guy, their team would have wanted to come back, but at the end of the day, he decided to leave. Tiki Barber? I mean, what's the difference between retiring and resigning? Joe Biden's retiring.
Yeah, true.
Same thing. Well, not the same thing because you're 100 years younger and you're still at the top of your game. But similar?
True, but it wasn't like, hey, we're done with you, though. That's different.
No, I agree. You decided on your own.
I think most of the resignations are, we're done with you.
Yes. Now, there is a big one that you forgot. And there are people on hold that want to yell at you forgetting about this person. So I'm not going to steal their thunder. I'm going to allow Ralph in East Islip to inform you that you may have missed the number one guy. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call. I do want to say the list was good. I'm not criticizing the list. Mm-hmm. But you missed the one, and he wasn't going to get fired either, is Pat Riley, with his facts.
Good point.
No, you're right. And think about
what Pat went and did subsequently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up haunting the New York Knicks for many years later.
But here's the thing.
There's another one Sean missed. He's going to be embarrassed by. But finish your point, then I'll rip you.
If I include Pat Riley, then I don't get my witty jokes in about Spike Eskin and Mike Francesa. So you guys got to remember that when I'm putting together a list.
Now, in fairness, you didn't need to include Wink Martindale.
I did because it was recent, and I felt like we forget how crazy it was.
Here's why you're wrong, okay? And I understand that it's recent, and it's the New York Giants, and it was certainly a big topic on this show. If we are fortunate enough to be doing this show 20 years from now, and the Cinco is still a very popular segment, okay? And future president, I don't know, Josh Shapiro.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, that's a better one. Future President Dwayne Johnson announces, you know what? I pulled way too many muscles. I really want to work that main event with Dominic Mysterio Jr. I'm going to resign the presidency. I'm out, okay? Dwayne makes the decision. So we say, you know what? We should bring back that Cinco we did 20 years ago. And we do a Cinco on resignations or retirements or whatever. I can promise you Don Wink Martindale is a pimple on the fanny of all that you missed.
We won't remember it.
No.
In 5 years.
But we'll replace it with Tommy Lugauer resigning as executive producer to go to Spotify.
You go to Spotify now?
Spotify.
By the way, our buddy Kendrick and Suffering brought up a one that Sean missed that I think should be on the list.
Go ahead.
Antonio Brown basically stripping naked and walking off the field at MetLife.
Not a New York athlete, but did happen at MetLife.
But it was in New York.
Yeah, we can't include it because it's not a New York athlete. But that would have been a great way to resign. That's what Biden should have done. He should have just ripped his clothes off at a campaign rally and said, you know what? I'm out. The one that you missed, though, Sean, that I'm embarrassed for you.
Embarrassed for me, you brought up Kotite, so you missed it too.
What do you mean I brought up Kotite? Yeah, I did bring up Kotite.
I said, what was the biggest omission to you guys? You said Kotite.
No, but I thought the Kotite one is interesting because people don't remember that he resigned. But the biggest omission is of a team you love and a team I can't stand. And that, of course, is Mike Keenan.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a good one too.
They won the Stanley Cup. And then he's like, I'm going to terminate my own contract and leave. That is the ultimate shock resignation. The ultimate.
Yeah, you're right. That's a tough one too. All right, so I missed a few. What's the big deal?
Well, I'm not saying your list is bad, but I think what we're realizing, a lot of people pulled a Biden.
Do you think it's a bigger omission missing Pat Riley or a bigger omission leaving out Hoosiers for Air Bud in the top 5 basketball movies of all time ever?
Well, first of all, Hoosiers is one of the most overrated movies of all time. So leaving that out, whoever did that, I'm not sure who did.
That was Sean.
Yeah.
That was Sean?
And
Yeah,
put Air Bud in.
Terrible. Well, both movies suck, just for the record.
You're a dog guy, Ev.
Yeah, so just because I like dogs means I like watching dogs play basketball in a movie?
You know what? We don't have enough time. But yeah, it's great.
Here's the thing about Hoosiers real quick. So I've seen it twice. Hoosiers is made by a scene. That's all it is. And sometimes sports movies kind of have that happen where there's the one scene that makes you gloss over the fact that the rest of the movie's not that good.
Well, yeah, the rest of the movie is forgettable. Kind of boring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah, now, Evan, how do you feel about The Natural?
I think that movie sucked.
Come on.
Yeah, overrated. Overrated. What was that other baseball
it's a
movie?
true story, by the way.
It doesn't mean it's good.
The true story is actually more interesting.
So they dumbed that, they borified the fake movie? I mean, the fake story, I should say.
In fact, the guy who got shot, and I'm forgetting his name now.
Yeah.
It was the first instance of, like, fan stalking.
Really?
Yes. And he actually got shot, went to war, was a war hero, came back, but he actually came back and played pretty well.
Eddie Wakus.
Yes.
What about Bull Durham? That movie stunk, too.
I don't know about Bull Durham.
Yeah, it was terrible. Is that the one with Susan Sarandon? I get them confused.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the best one is obviously Major League.
Yeah. God.
Just epic.
My only issue with Major League is that Major League was this classic, right? It was this great movie, and it was rated R. They make the second movie. Not only do they lose one of their key actors and then decide, you know what, let's just replace him with a different actor, which is so stupid. Just have the guy leave as a free agent.
Right.
And bring in another character.
Right. Yeah, just write a brand new character. I am deathly against TV shows and movies that get lazy by just taking another actor. I'll give you an example. Shaun Morash, we just get rid of him, all right? We just get rid of him. He's asking for too much money. We let him go to John Boy Media, okay? So Sean's gone. And Tiki's like, boy, I'll tell you, but I like Sean. He's such a great character on this show. And then we hire someone who looks like him, and we just start calling him Sean. Isn't that the same thing?
That's basically the same thing.
That's exactly what Major League 2 did. So, number one, they took a great actor that they couldn't bring back. Okay, fine, it happens. And they replaced him with just another actor.
Wesley Snipes for Omar Epps.
Thank you.
Yes.
I could tell everyone was struggling on that.
I knew Wesley Snipes. I forgot about Omar Epps.
All right.
The second thing that they did, which I think was actually far worse, rated R to PG-13. Can't do that. Can't do that.
They just wanted kids to watch it.
No, you can't
They
do that.
realized kids were watching it anyways.
Yeah, but then you made it, you kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's the word that David Wells said on the radio earlier today with Sal and BT. They not sanctified it. What's it called when you kind of tone something down a little bit?
Watered it down?
Watered it down.
Yeah, it's a simple way to say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're trying to say wussified, I believe.
No, I was using a different word.
I know, that's why I used that word.
They made it less risque.
Yeah, they took it and they made it just softer.
Yeah. Because
And
I
they
remember
didn't need to do
watching that
that.
movie when I was a kid, and it was like, man, this thing is edgy. Should I be
Yes.
watching this?
Yes.
Exactly.
And then,
There's
like,
a ton of innuendo in that.
Oh, it
movie.
was unbelievable.
It
And
was
then
great.
the second one is still good, don't get me wrong. Like, I gave it a strong B, but it could have been great if they just made it dirty. if they had curse words, if they had throw in a sex scene, why not? Like, yeah, that's okay.
I mean, Rue Baker was reading the Playboy to remember how to throw to the pitcher.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying you could have made that more racy and rated R.
Absolutely.
And Tanaka went, you don't have no marbles. That was risky.
They could have gone further.
No doubt.
I think they took, again, good movie, but I think Major League 2 had a chance to be great. Had a chance to be even better than the original, but going from R to 13, big problem.
And then obviously the one you missed there, Field of Dreams, trash. I mean, just rubbish, awful, boring. You can't even get through it.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow at Hard Rock.
Really bad.
What are you trying to do right now?
Well, I'm just pointing out the thing that you missed. It's just obviously awful.
Now, you know that's not true. You just lied to the audience. Was
I didn't
that
lie.
nice
I
of
gave
you?
an opinion. We give opinions here. My opinion is it's awful.
But do you think it's an opinion to say America sucks? Would you ever say that on the radio?
So hold on a second. Just to
Would
be
you ever
clear
say
here.
that on the radio?
Just to be clear here.
That's an
You are
opinion, but would you
comparing
say that?
the country that we live in to a movie, Field of Dreams.
Well, I think that saying Field of Dreams, those words you use.
Boring, awful, bad, overrated, whatever.
I think that's the equivalent of running down our great nation. I think it's absolutely the same.
Oh, I
and
disagree.
you wouldn't do that.
I disagree. No. I'm not taking shots at America.
You know what this is, Tiki?
I'm taking shots at a bad movie.
You never took a shot at America.
No, he basically did.
No, he didn't.
By destroying Field of Dreams. And you know what really annoys me about what he did? It's not even original. All he did was write down something my former partner said.
Stop it.
And repeat the same thing again because he knows that guy got my goat. So Loogie's thinking, you know what? What would CC do? What would CC do? Oh, let me just repeat the thing he said to me a year and a half ago so I'll piss Evan off again. Well, guess what? It's not working this time because I'm not pissed at you. I'm pissed at him. I'm pissed at him putting that thought in your dopey little brain because you don't even think that. You don't even have that opinion.
How is it?
Baldy does.
How is it any
I don't
different?
mean you, Tiki.
And Sean's ball, too, while we're at it. BT, Sal, we have a lot of ball people. Al, how is it any different? And I agree with you that saying Hoosiers is bad. You just said Hoosiers is bad. You insulted 90% of the audience that loves the movie.
Well, because they're wrong.
So you're wrong about Field of Dreams. It stinks.
Tiki will break the tie.
Thank you, Tiki.
Your thoughts on Field of Dreams?
The father-son side of it was kind of cool.
Oh, there you go.
The overall movie, though, Teak, would you give it? Grade it.
Yeah. It's too farcical to me.
Too farcical?
Very farcical.
Why? You can't believe that a dead baseball player would play in your outfield if you built a field?
Right. If you build it, they will come. I've heard that saying so many times. That cliche. It's become cliche-ish.
Oh,
and
no
it's
doubt.
Annoying when I hear it now.
No doubt.
If you build it, they will come. No, they won't.
You know what you should do, though? Do me this favor. I know you've got some trips planned over the summer. I think you need to read the book, Shoeless Joe by W.P. Kinsella, and then let me know. Because I think the book is tremendous.
I actually have to read the book, The Natural, first.
Oh, God.